All right, good morning, traders. Happy Wednesday. Filling in for Vlad for the third day. I apologize. I had a little bit of a delay, and I'm a little concerned it's going to be a rocky presentation logistically. Unfortunately, my second monitor is like showing power, but uh, it's not sending the signal. So I don't know what happens. It's blank. So I'm working off of one screen, which I'm not used to. So I hope at least it's a big screen, so I can at least move things around the way I like. But bear with me today. Good morning to you, Koo. Good to see you. Wonderful Wednesday, Dennis. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Faust. Good morning, Fred. Good morning, LK. Birthday celebrations were calm, quiet, and nice. My son arrived. He drove. He's in school in Montana and had a 9-hour drive yesterday to get home. He got home just in time for dinner. So we all went to dinner. So am I a high-tech redneck? No. Then it says HDMI cable are resetting the video cards. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to play with it. I might even just be I might just have to like do an update, reset it, turn the computer off and on. I mean, you never know with these damn things, but unfortunately, I didn't see it in time to do it before we got started. This is me trading for a while, teaching for a while. Did I say welcome to Tradespoon? I think maybe I missed that part. Welcome to Tradespoon live trading room, stocks and options. I'm Scott, trading for a while, teaching for a while. Geez, the whole system seems to be going slow right now for some reason. There's the disclosures. Let's get into it. Yeah, let's get into it. All right. First and foremost, the futures. God, everything is slow. The whole system is just running a little slowly right now. And good morning to you, Mark. Coffee is here. That's all it needs to be. Here, us together. Good morning, Mario. Bitcoin is surging, they say. They're convinced that it's no longer the Wild West. Futures are up 0.5% on the S&P, 0.25% on the Dow. Look at that NASDAQ, 0.7. Russell, 0.6. Oil's down 2%. U.S. futures rise amid more soft jobs data. So, I mean, the soft jobs data may just be that last little help we need with inflation. What was the data? Yesterday, surged on useless 109K. Right? Job openings came back. We had an unexpected rise, then an unexpected fall. I don't think the market was too concerned. Now we get a private payrolls at 103 versus 128, and again, the market's just not that concerned. Thank you, Dennis. He said just go disable and then enable the video card and it turns back on. I'm gonna give that a try. I'll add that to my list. Convinced politicians are killing the dollar. Well, and here's what's interesting, right? Is the dollar surging in strength was part of a contributor to the market. Remember, we broke. We were down here as the market really pushed highs in July. and hit these lows, remember that the market was surging and hitting highs and was strong at the end of July. Then things started to turn around, and when we broke the highs on the dollar and we went into this area, that's where things got nasty. And then culminating here, but as the dollar has started to come back down, the market has regained strength. So remember that we're a bit of an inverse correlation to some extent with the dollar. So it's an interesting place. I agree that the ADP data is mostly useless. We're made more concerned with Friday's Department of Labor numbers, but two reports in a row that are a little softer than expected, and is the market panicking and saying, "Oh no," saying, "Look, it's a funny thing because." And I thought I had did I not refresh this as well as I thought I did? I had a different opening story. Mine was a story of Yellen talking about how all the economists were so wrong about unemployment rising as they counter inflation, right? Remember that they're like, oh, unemployment could go up to, although to be fair, the Fed itself, so she should, look back at the committee and say, why did you guys think unemployment was going to rise to 5.5%? That was the warning, if you remember, which when you do the math, that's losing 3 million jobs, unemployment going from 3.5 to 5.5. Thank you, Dennis. Appreciated. Good to see you, Robert. Okay, what else? McDonald's adding 10,000 new stores worldwide by 2027. We missed private payroll expectations. Cybertruck. Wait a second. You're seeing, you guys are seeing Cybertruck on mine? Okay, we're done here. Let's look at this. What's left? Jobless claims tomorrow. Non-farm payrolls on Friday. And give me just a second here. I need to move things. I'm a little slow because I have a lot more space than when I'm on my laptop. It's not that bad. McDonald's to increase obesity 20% in that time period, Mario said, right? Also, don't forget their coffee is hot. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything there. Next week, nothing Monday. Then we get some inflationary data, CPI and PPI. Obviously, we're still watching that. The Fed has said we'll reverse course if we need to. They've sort of left the door open, right? Which of course they should, right? Why would you not leave a door open? What's the point of closing the door in that regard, metaphorically, right? Once we've stopped, there's no way we'll go back. What if you realize you need to? Nope. We will not do it, right? What do you mean? Of course the door's open. Yeah, so we'll have inflationary data. We'll see what that does. Let's look at the model, see how the model sees it. Opening here in 1 minute. Opening here in 1 second. I just saw 729. Market's open. What do we see here? And again, right, even though you're like, oh, am I going to be a little bearish? That's not bearish. That's a consolidation. That's a mild pullback. That mild pullback, touching a support level and looking for a bounce, if it even pulls back that much. Remember, my premise, having looked at this for quite a while, is that if this here doesn't move very quickly or shows weakness in how it sells, meaning volumes and ranges and stuff, then I definitely could see this thing whipping up to look more like this. That's in line with what I see here. I don't see. Yes, it's not showing a huge surge of buyers. What it's showing is a lack of sellers. And a lack of sellers means the buyers will find their opportunity, in my opinion. Let's go to the Qs. The Qs are here. Let's see. Not much there, but also it doesn't look terrible. Look, I recognize that the model's calling for additional selling on the technology, and I'm thinking technology looks like it's starting to bounce. But remember, I'm looking for something that would be outside of what the model's looking for. My premise is that if we do find support here and then all of a sudden we turn like this, I think that means the model's going to recognize it's off and make an adjustment too. So yeah, I'm fine with this as long as I'm still waiting for confirmation from a technical standpoint on the charts that I'm using. What about you guys? Are you trading anything? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Are you neutral? What else? Confused? Got it. Got it. Let's look at Dow and NASDAQ, and then we'll go peek at the opening range. I think that we have some windows today. You'll see. It's just a matter of if you're ready and willing to take them and with how much. Yeah, that says neutral. That looks bullish. So small pullback, bullish kick, higher high. And additional strength on the Russell on the small caps. For us, gives an indication of increased strength, right? Increased bullishness, that the appetite for risk is moving not just in its normal technology adjacent, but it's also moving into the small caps. And the small caps have been elusive. They started to participate just right at the tail end of the summer. They finally kicked into gear and then just lost its way there for a minute before continuing its trend. But that's where we find ourselves. The Dow, on the other hand, is looking like it's more at a sell-off than a consolidation. What would that mean if the Dow has more weakness? And I wouldn't say weakness, but just a bigger pullback, so less strength. Yeah, that's normal. In that same vein of appetite for risk, we see less interest in large caps, blue chips. What creates interest in those? Well, they're safe. They're a safe haven. They're big. They sustain their value better in trouble times. So people will move out of small caps, out of technology and technology adjacent, and move into the safe Dow. And when they're feeling more bullish, they'll move out of the Dow, move back into technology adjacent, and small caps. And we're also seeing financials and industrials. And so all of this speaks to the broader conditions of the market, in my opinion. Long TLT, Bitcoin, Apple, KIE, VZ with a VIX hedge. Love it. It's stacked up. I like that. Very nice. Okay. The model says, not the model, the cyclical says, trading room is in session now. Click here to join. Get in there. This says that there is the prospects that we could still have a consolidation here in front of us from where we are now. And that's what we just saw from the model as well. So maybe we could turn early. We've missed it before. I'm not 100% relying on this. I know that this all says lower here. because look what this is telling us, that this is going to come down. It's going to come down for the next 50 days. That's a lot. Doesn't look like it to me, but as someone pointed out to me, as I looked at this, I said, to be fair, I really don't look at this myself. Vlad does. So I'm not saying it's invalid. It's his tool. But for me, I use the tool more from a visual standpoint. I will look at the correlation, though I find it lagging. I'm looking at just these two together. I mean, you can look at them stacked on top of each other and say, okay, this is what we projected, up a little, down, and then up bigger, and it went up a little, down, and up bigger. We watched these things real time as they were happening, and this was just basically spot on. It worked well back through here. It missed a little bit here, and then it just picked right back up. So for me, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to watch this, and I'm going to see what is it calling for. It's calling for this. So we'll see. Do we get it? Do we get a little bit of it? And then it's calling for this. Remember, with an additional bit of kick here, that would, let's just say, extend that into the new year a little bit. Yeah, I'm fine with what I see there. Okay, let's go look at our opening range and how it's moving. Boom. And let's go to SPY. Looking forward to 2024, how to best position my portfolio. Love it. Hello, John. Did I miss you? John, you might not have heard that my second monitor is down. It's disabled. So I don't have my normal setup where it's so easy to see what's going on the other side. Okay. Good to see you anyways. Okay, so we opened higher and immediately started giving it back. Quickly, I might add, on these first 8 minutes. So, interesting. Let's step back out. Where do we see this thing right now? Yeah. I mean, you can see that, like, from right here, we went down, up, down, sideways, and we're up a little bit. So where are we? We're basically almost where we were. We are higher than this consolidation, though, right? You can kind of see. Actually, I drew that wrong. It went from here down below, but the high was up there. So we were at this little consolidation, and you can see we were overbought right there. We were kind of waiting, and then it sort of moved up and sort of didn't. And the whole time, what's going on? We're still kind of in the the seller's cycle according to our stochastics. Our stochastics got overbought and stayed overbought, and that's been pretty common across most stocks. That's a weakness of any oscillator, is that in extended periods of momentum, they just sort of get strained. They can't move higher, but it just sits up there, and we're somewhat conditioned to looking at it saying, oh, look, it's overbought. I can't do anything. It's already overbought, but it's overbought. And then it gets more overbought, more overbought. We entered this overbought condition we're in now. Really, we entered it back here, like as it broke out of this area. But in this area here is when we got overbought. And what's it done since then? Done nothing but go higher, overbought the whole time. You got to prepare for that. You have to be ready to trade through that, which means sometimes you're taking small little turn signals out of here, or you're hoping that your watch list has stocks that are giving more concise swing opportunities, right? But does any of this diminish our bullishness or make us? No, this is just simply sometimes even in a bull market, it can be hard to find and position yourself for these swing trades. You're just kind of trying to make sure you understand where we're at. So where are we at? Could we continue from here pushing higher despite the fact that it's coming down? Yes, it would be hard at this point, right? It would, the next bullish move we have above this area. So if it convincingly did this, that's going to turn this back up. And that might be the confirmation you're waiting for. If you're saying, hey, I want additional confirmation, because yeah, where we've been, it's just kind of, meandering around in this area while it just sort of comes back down on this stochastics, and we're saying, are we getting signals? So on the SPY, it's not like it's been these perfect signals, but have we had signals other areas? How do I want to do this? Let me do this. Is this gonna work? Give me 1 second here. We're gonna run through the watch list, but this is and of course I have to hurry and log back in. Sorry, give me 1 second. Computer is forcing me to log in or reset. Nothing wants to work today. It may just be that I haven't reset. You know how they can just start running clunky if you don't reset them every now and again? That may be where I'm at, because everything is just in a bad spot here. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. What are your concerns with the market right now? Have I shut it down? No, Dennis, that's what I was just saying is I think it's due for a restart, clearly. But we will get through it together. Continue. Okay. It's killing me today. I told you it was going to be a little clunky. I warned you. I warned you. Okay, here we go. And we're back. We're back again. Let's start with Apple. Fred says, my concerns are with the seasonal model and Stella maybe going slow for the next week or two, maybe. Yeah, no. I agree. It's not like we're all of a sudden, frolicking through the lollipop and gumdrop forest. on our unicorn, and it's a fantasy land of wonder. I think it's more bullish, than it's been for several months for sure, and showing but yeah, I think we still have to kind of ease our way. Like, do we have the signal we want, or so yeah, that makes sense. You can see here's Apple. It's definitely pausing, but Apple was valid. Apple gave a signal here, pulled back, but didn't stop out here. Strong rally yesterday. Now what? Well, we're missing our follow through, but it was strong enough yesterday to kick in the Heikin-Ashi. So this is it. This thing needs to fight through today, or else this is valid. If someone's in something like Apple, yes, I am. Because strong rally up, consolidation, busted out of the consolidation. You can see our stochastics did its thing. And here we are. It's higher than it was, but it's certainly, missing some action today. So there you go. Adobe looked like it was going to signal soon, but didn't. It's not that. I mean, it started to turn. It never gave this. So this one started to give a pinch, but it never gave price. I'm still mostly looking for both. Would I anticipate a trade? Yes. This one is getting close to earnings, so you want to be careful about that. We're down like this. Now, Bob says, day is young, we'll rally in the PM. I 100% agree that could happen. If this thing turned back up and finished like this here, that would turn this and make the cross. And then I'd say, hell yes, let's go. We're in. That could absolutely be a signal later today for me. So don't count things out. Now that it's down here, it's back down. But if it was up here and it looked like that, we'd be getting on the horse, I think. So I agree with that. The day is young, right? Plenty of things can happen. Aflac gave a signal and is trying, but hasn't done much yet. Same AIG. I happen to pick AIG on this last one, which is working a little better than Aflac. AMD, not yet. It wants to. It's thinking about it. You can see it's a weird kind of shooting star, but it's up 1.5%. The stochastic's trying to turn. Yeah, as much as we would love to always find clean entries, it's just not going to always be the case. Sometimes you're just going to have to sort of say, is this it? And make the decision. Amazon, nothing yet, but close. APH. Okay, so you can see American Express. We'll expect to see some of this where these are pulling back, possibly. Not Boeing, not BK, not BX. Oh, City is mine. So, have I sold some? Yes. But am I still in some? Yes. Yes. Yes and yes. I've taken two, I guess it would probably be closer to 3/4, but there's still a quarter on. Between a quarter and a third. COF. So where do we see that momentum? Financials. Look how strong the financials are. Do you have financials on your watch list? There should be. We've got plenty. There is plenty of opportunities. I ended up in two, Citi and PNC, a large bank and a regional bank. Costco. The Costco worked. It turned, but it's just kind of grinding its way higher. CPRT hasn't triggered yet. Now we're starting to wonder, is that a pullback or is that moving into sell-off territory? CrowdStrike, overextended. Nothing there yet. You got to wait. You got to be patient. DHI. Oh, we saw it. We talked about it. I know a couple of people took this one. I did not. Now I will obviously wish I did. This home builders always sneaks like that, right? Where it's like, that was a good one. Who took that trade? Yes, Robert. Still in it, I'm hoping. Still in at least 2/3 to a quarter, I would hope. If you took some profit in here, I would be like, yeah, I probably would have done the same. right? Where you catch something and then you're like, wait a second, and you take a quarter or a third off, and then bing, pops, and you're like, well, followed my rules, still have some on. Bob says I did KBH because I like their homes. Got it. I think both of these are built. There's a ton of. I'm in one of the fastest growing cities in the country. Apparently, they're saying that my city, Eagle Mountain, will be I think the second or the third largest city in Utah within like 5 more years. It's crazy. We have a Tyson's chicken plant and a Facebook like server center. It's crazy. All of a sudden, what's out here? I want to leave. Do have BHI and KBH building homes out here. DIA, you can see holding on to its. Oh, look at Fastenal. I got to tell you, I was watching Copart, and I didn't like the way that this kind of had this big one, and then it gave you this second piece. You could have taken the hike and ashy route on something like this. Got in, put a tighter stop. I did not. I kind of got distracted by, I don't know, watching the other setup, and that other setup is falling apart and this thing's moving. What are you gonna do? Industrials is starting to really regain, so we're gonna want to do some searching, make sure the watch list looks good in there. Gold is setting up, possibly, if you like the bullishness of the metals. Okay, Google, this is it. Make the decision. Do you believe this is a higher low? You've got the stochastics coming out of overbought. You've got the candle held today. It's confirming. You might, yeah. So you do something like this. I'm not going to put my stop here. I'd probably go maybe not, but I'm also not going to go down here. So I might go below these bodies, maybe 129. Now I'm risking 2.5 points, right? And if it gets back up here, that's 7.5 points. I'm getting 3-1. So if the target is 140, that's 8.5 points. I can risk 2.5 to get 8.5. So I think Google absolutely looks viable. Give me your thoughts. John said higher low. Let's go. Here we have Gap HD. You can see the retailers are a little bit overextended. IBM overextended. ICE. I thought it looked valid, but it just never. Stella does not like Google. I know that. She's a little down on technology in general, if you look. So I'm not surprised. This started to move, but then it just sort of, ran out of steam. I didn't really like the entry for the same reason I didn't like the Fastenal. So Intel. Oh, now Intel I like. Intel is now, I would say AMD is a little funky. I'm still going to watch it, but for chips, I'm going to look at Intel as the leader now. Real strong push out of earnings, smashed out of its cup and handle, went higher, completed the next move already, looking for the pullback. Yeah, so I like this, but it's not there yet. Still in setup mode. We got to wait for the trigger. Pushing higher. JPM pushing higher. Yeah, some of these are just overextended. Meta looks like Google, but I think I like the way Google looks a little better. Did we miss airlines? We were watching them with the cruises. Yeah, you're right. We didn't really put any on our watch list, even though we talked about it. Didn't we talk about it? I don't know how we didn't end up with them. You're right. That definitely would have been the exact kind of cat we're looking for. We did discuss it. Whose fault is that? I don't know. I mean, I guess since I control the watch list, we could theoretically say maybe it's my fault that we didn't put it on. I thought I had put it on, but I don't know. For some reason, I think somebody else is to blame here. Let's think about it. We'll mull it over, and we'll decide later. We'll have a committee. We'll form a committee. Bob, you're not on the committee. He said, yeah, you're the boss, coach's fault. I mean, come on. That's just a rush to judgment. I agree. Let's get him on the list. What do you think? Yeah, we'll put some on. Where was I? I got to get through this list. We're going to run out of time here. Microsoft, close. In fact, I think you could look at it and say you had yesterday's engulfing today. It's pulled back a little, but you're here. I think you could look at this one and say, you know what? This might be all you get, and you got to make that decision. Same kind of a thing. Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking at this one. Cruises too. Yeah, they're in that consumer discretionary. We mentioned travel and leisure. We definitely talked about them and looked at them a couple times. We kept CCL. Netflix, close. You got that. Those are hard candles to trade in on, though. So you got to think: do I want to trade in on this? Do I want to wait to see if the Heiken Ashi can give me the confirmation I'm looking for? It's okay. Just pick what you're going to do with them. But you guys don't see my chart? Are you seeing my chart? John says no. Small cap surgery. You see the chart. Mario says yes. Mark says yes. Oh, I think it's on your end, John. I think it's on your end. Everyone else sees it. Okay, Netflix, Nvidia. I like Intel. Nvidia's in consolidation for me. PDD, nothing there yet. PLTR, PLTR let us down. Luckily, I stopped out back on this day here as it popped through this level. But yeah, and that's where the Heiken Ashi can be very, very helpful, right? We would want to, hopefully, as it crosses here, maybe around 1945, and you can see, does the Heiken Ashi help there? Yeah, right around this 1954 level. There you go. But did take the loss for sure. PNC looks fantastic. Still have a piece of that on. We definitely called out financials is where the money was going in industrials over the last last week or so. Here's RCL, like the airlines. Roku, maybe. Shopify still kind of in consolidation mode. SMCI consolidation mode. Snap just won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. SPY, we're just sort of stuck in our opening range, right? Just kind of stuck at the bottom of the opening range. We'll see what that brings. Tesla looks like it's giving a bounce signal here. Tradable. UBS, I don't know what's going on with UBS. It's choppy. UNP, a nice move out of the industrials, like we said, but now we're waiting for a consolidation. Visa is overextended, needs to pull back. Here's our VIX today. The VIX looks like it's rolling over. Never got even close to 14. What does that tell us? Institutions still confident. WMB pulling back. I might trade this one this time. If it gives me another setup, I'll take it. Walmart, nothing there. Materials looks bullish. Communication services looking like it's giving a bounce. Energy looks flat. Financials looks overextended, as does industrials. Technology kind of sideways, trying to find its way. Staples and utilities, stable. That's where we find ourselves. John, I'm going to put up Google, but I'm not going to go through them. I'm just a little worried about the system today. Here's what I would say. The volatility, the lows is 22. We're at 25. I'm probably going to look at calls. When I'm at or near the bottom, like 15 to 20 percentile of IV, which is where we are there, they're cheap enough that I'm going to look at calls. However, I do want to watch a little longer this morning, see what happens, and see where we go. So I apologize, everybody. We'll be back this afternoon. I will work on the problem. I'll make sure that I have my second monitor back up and running, and go with that. Strike a month. Right now, I'm going Jans. It's too easy, right? We're about 5 weeks from January's on Google. Yeah, I'd go to the January's, and I have to think I'd probably end up around the 133 to 135 strikes, something like that. So, all right, listen, have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody. If I don't see you, make sure that you join me tomorrow. I'm sorry, not tomorrow, this afternoon. And if not, join me Friday morning. As always, happy trading.